Hi guys,
Hi.
and welcome to our weekly Sunday night chit-chat.
First of many.
Yes, so we're going to give you a bit of a insight into how our week's been, what we've been up to, and we're going to talk about how having kids with additional needs affects us and how we cope with certain situations. So basically, this week we have had a very busy week, haven't we?
We've had a hospital appointment with Kira.
Yeah, we went to see Kira's epilepsy consultant, because obviously we're going to see him quite regularly. They're brilliant with her, and because Kira she'd been doing amazing with her seizures, hadn't she?
And then she had that seizure.
And she had
you saw
that
when
seizure
we were
when we were on holiday. And we think it's because of our hormones and due to being tired. So we went to see the consultant to see what we can do, because we know that tiredness is one of Kira's biggest triggers, isn't it? So when we went, they were so pleased with her because of how long she had gone, which is amazing. I think it was 210 days.
And yeah, she worked out at
7 months.
Just over 7 months.
And that is absolutely fantastic for Kira. So they didn't want to adjust a medication because we don't think it's the medication. We think it's a mixture of our hormones and our tiredness, which you'll have seen in the other videos that we've talked about how bad Kira's sleeping is lately.
Also, I think when we were away, the heat played a part in it as well.
Massive. Obviously, everybody gets uncomfortable when it's hot, and you end up not being able to sleep. It's hard for Kira. But they agreed. Obviously, as Kira's body is changing, they kind of agreed with us that she's not coping as well as she should. So they want to try her on melatonin, don't they? To try and I think your body produces melatonin, and obviously Kira's isn't producing enough of it at the moment, so that's why she's not sleeping. If we can get on top of the sleeping, we can kind of manage the moods and the seizures, can't we?
Yeah.
So we've got to. They've prescribed that. However,
we haven't got it.
No, there's a bit of an issue with the suppliers. They need a letter from the doctor to say why this child needs this medication, blah 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 blah.
Even though the prescription got written
by a doctor,
a big doctor.
So they need proof basically of what's wrong with Kira and why she needs it. So they said we can't get it until probably the end of next week, which it's not the best, is it?
No.
But hopefully, once this medication does start work, when it starts working, I'm talking like she's going to take it.
Yeah, getting her to take it is going to be a challenge in itself.
She takes that epilepsy medication because she's had it since she was a baby, hasn't she?
Yeah, so she's really used to it.
She's used to that, she knows. Any other medication, no. You pretty much got to pin her down, haven't you?
Yeah, which is...
And 9 times out of 10 she'll spit it at you, and
it's horrible, obviously. No
you don't really
wants to restrain the child.
You don't want to force it on her, but we know that...
It's bad enough having to give her epilepsy medicine, even when she's willing to do it, because you
don't want to give your kids medication, but...
I don't even like giving my kids Calpol.
Yeah, well, she doesn't even take Calpol.
No.
She can be in horrific pain and she refuses to take Calpol. She's anything new. She could have an infection. Can you remember the time she was right bad?
Yeah.
And she had that really, really bad water infection and kidney infection, and we couldn't get no antibiotics into her.
Yeah.
She was ill for like over a month. It was right bad. The one nothing. We tried, the doctors tried all sorts. She just didn't take it. Eventually our body did fight it off, but so yeah, it's going to be a bit of a task to get the medication into her. But if we stick at it, because we know eventually she will go to sleep, and then it'll help her cope better. Because she does, obviously when we go out she does have the meltdowns, but when she's tired it's worse. So if she gets a good night's sleep, she's not as bad, is she?
No,
She seems to cope with things better.
It's just like anybody who don't get enough sleep.
You're cranky, aren't you?
She's just cranky like everybody else, but because of her needs, she expresses it in a different way.
Yeah. She expresses it in anger because she doesn't understand what's going on with her.
And then you get a million funny looks off a million different people.
Ignorance. I don't even know where to start. We've learned to pick our battles. Anybody with kids with additional needs will know. You do get a lot of judgmental people. A lot of people stay. They just think that Kira's a bad behaved child, and she's not.
She's really not.
She's not. She's one of the loveliest, most caring young girls you could meet, but she just struggles with our world, and not many people understand that, so they judge and stay, which when we're dealing with a child having a meltdown, we don't need you to stare at her and tut and judge her. We just need you to, if you're not going to help, just move on. There is no need for it. No need. And then obviously you get with Aaron, the very
ignorant towards his hearing aid.
The make it known that they're staring, and that is ridiculous. You shouldn't do that to a child.
The worst people I've noticed is teenage lads.
Yeah, and the elderly.
Elderly, yeah.
Yeah.
They're oh, that looks. I wouldn't even mind if they come up and went, oh, that looks
That's different. What's that? You know.
Rather than just staring, giving him funny looks, making him feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, and he is noticing it a lot more. We used to be able to shield it when he was younger, and he never really knew.
As he's getting older,
he's noticing, and we've just said, if it's an adult, come and tell her, and we'll sort it out, and we'll ask them what they're looking at, and we'll explain to them. We're not gonna. Do you know, we're not nasty people, we're not going to argue with you. Just ask her if you are intrigued by Aaron's little ear or by the machine that's plugged into him. Come and ask her. We will explain it to you, we'll show you it. Do you know, we'll explain it all to you. We really don't mind. Even Aaron will. But we don't need you to stay. We don't. It is the height of ignorance, and we don't. Nobody needs that at all.
No.
You just need, if you don't approve, don't look. Don't look. Walk on. That's all you need to do. So yeah, and we've had to deal with a bit of an ignorant, judgmental person this week.
Neighbour from hell.
Yeah.
Yes. You were choosing your words carefully.
Yeah, we had been away in Newcastle, which everybody knows, and obviously Kira had the meltdowns and everything, but we were on holiday. We were away, we weren't at home. We come home, and because Aaron is deaf and because I'm deaf, we're a very loud household.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not our fault. Aaron is loud because he can't hear. His go-to setting is the level that he can hear at. That might be loud to you, but it's not to him. And to me, I have to talk loud, and I can't hear you, so you have to talk loud to me.
And plus, Kira's loud because when she's upset, she doesn't know.
When she has a meltdown, she's loud. But when she has a meltdown, we bring her in the house. We try and keep it contained so not many people can hear her. However, the kids were playing on the trampoline, and they weren't even being noisy. What they'd done was they'd made a den, and they were hiding from Tom, and they were giggling and going, "Daddy, come and find us, Daddy, come and find us." And then and I was busy cooking tea. Next thing we know, the neighbour over the back started screaming and shouting and swearing at the kids, calling them names that you should never call a child for no reason. So Tom went out to find out what was going on, and the woman became very aggressive and of a bit of a threatening nature. There were literally no calm in her. She wouldn't stop shouting, would she?
Stop shouting, no.
So I come out.
Totally unreasonable.
Yeah, I come out to find out what was going on, and then she says that my kids had been screaming at 4 o'clock in the morning. I wasn't here. When she said that the kids had done that, we weren't here, we were in Newcastle, and we can prove to everybody that we were in Newcastle. And she says that we're very loud and that everybody hates her because we're loud. I says, the reason my kids are loud is because he's deaf and so am I. And I showed her Aaron's Baha. That didn't go down too well with her. And then she started effing and blinding at me, saying, well, I'm not deaf. Actually, I am deaf. That is why we are loud. And when as for Kira, she has autism. When she has a meltdown, she can't help that. Yes, she might scream, but we bring her in the house. There isn't, and we can't stop the meltdowns. This woman wouldn't have none of that, would she?
No, just carried on shouting.
So, and the kids, by this point, the kids were scared and the kids were crying. So we just, you can't stand there arguing with them, these ignorant people, for ages, can you?
No.
Our concern is the kids. I could stand there till I'm blue in the face arguing with her, and she's still not going to understand what our life is like.
She was probably one of the most ignorant people.
Normally when somebody does have a problem, once they realise the kids are deaf or Kira has autism or the seizures, I'm so sorry, don't worry about it, if you need a hand. So people are normally quite understanding once they know what the crack is. She wasn't. So we came in, and the kids have been scared to play outside since. But yeah, our concern is the kids. We will always put the kids first, and I'm not going to stand there swearing and shouting at you in front of me kids to get you to see the point. There was no need. If you've got a problem or you think your kids are being loud, come to the door. I will happily explain to you why they're loud. We'll show you the hearing aids and explain everything, and then we'll try and sort it out with you. There's no need ever to have a go at me kids, never.
And you'd have thought, she's in her 40s, 50s, you'd have thought someone like that
would have common sense to come to the door rather than start on children, because that's out of order. But since then, we've been stuck in the house, haven't we?
Pause a minute. Tea break.
Cheers. We live in a 3-bedroom house. Kira has to have her own room, because if she was to have a meltdown, if she was to share with Layla and have a meltdown, and if she hit Layla, she could quite easily kill Layla because of the strength she's got. So Kira has to have her own room.
She definitely needs her own space.
She needs it. She needs her sleep, and she needs to have that time, and she needs a safe place. So that's where we'll take her. If she's having a meltdown, we'll take her upstairs, get her in her bed, and she can't hurt anybody then. So she can't share a room with Layla. So that means Aaron has to share with her. Aaron is now 9 years old, and Layla is 6. He needs his own space, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And we are trying to find a bigger house, which is hard. So we have sacrificed our bedroom. We had the biggest bedroom in the house. Now we've
now got the second smallest.
Yeah. So we've took Aaron and Layla's bedroom, and so we've downsized, give them the bigger bedroom. We've got Layla a new bed, a mid-sleeper, and she's got one side of the room. Aaron has the other side with his bunk bed, and we'll give them a bit of a space. It still needs a bit of a sorting out, doesn't it?
Yeah, and
it has honestly took forever.
It's took about 4 days. It's 3 or 4 days. It's still not finished.
Yeah.
And we're going on holiday.
Which, but eventually when we get back, we're going to buy a room divider, aren't we? So it gives Aaron a bit of his, just some boy time. He can sit on the Xbox and
it's not like we're not turning it into 2 separate bedrooms.
It's just buying one of them little foldable room dividers. So if they want to play together, they can fold it. If they need their own space, they can put it back up. So that is the plan, and that's what we've been doing for the past few days. And we've not left this house. You have, just to go to the shop, ain't you?
Yeah.
And to go to the skip because we've had to downsize. There's a lot of stuff we've had to get rid of, isn't there?
We've had to get rid of a lot.
Drawers, wardrobes, all sorts. So everything's been upside down, hasn't it?
Yeah.
We've not had time to think.
So when we come back off his holidays, I've got a lot of painting
and decorating and yeah. But so it's been hectic. But whilst moving the rooms, it's obviously been a task in itself because you've got to look after the children. Aaron has been so helpful, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's been helping putting beds together and stuff and moving heavy stuff because I can't due to my chronic pain because I have fibromyalgia and a broken spine, so my pain is bad every day, and whatever I do makes it worse. If I do something, it makes it worse, and I have done stuff, haven't I? And then
you've done amazing.
Yeah, but it felt like I'd fell down the stairs and been crushed. My body has felt battered and bruised, hasn't it? I got up because we'd been at it all day, hadn't we? And I went to stand up and my legs just collapsed. They just went, and Layla ran to us, Aaron ran to us, and Tom, and they all caught us just before I hit the deck.
And day after that, she powered through again.
And because my kids...
Warrior.
You do it for your kids, don't you? You do it for your kids. I'll do out for them. I really will. And to give them a bit of their own space. So it's been busy, hasn't it?
Just a bit.
We're looking forward to a little holiday, aren't we?
Yeah.
The only thing is, I'm very sore now after doing it, and it hurts. Everywhere hurts us. But I'm looking forward to no appointments and stress because it's going to happen.
It will.
We plan right. We always say never to plan anything because you can guarantee it won't go to plan, and then you end up getting paid off because it didn't go to plan. And I call with the chaotic clocks, don't I? Because our life is chaos. Every day is chaos. No day ever runs smoothly. And when you think, oh, it's been alright today, something will go wrong immediately. So even though we're just taking the stress to a different place, really, aren't we?
Of course we are. But it's nice to be stressed somewhere else, as crazy as that sounds.
Nice to be stressed somewhere else with no hospital appointments, no doctor's appointments. I don't know how I'm gonna cope because I'm not gonna be having counselling for 2 weeks, but it's gonna be nice to spend some time to be able to go to the beach with the kids, even though Aaron hates the sand.
And also,
it's gonna be nice.
My mum and dad are coming for a day too, which means we can have a couple
date
of hours.
Night. Mm-hmm.
Date night.
Yeah, date night.
Date night. Okay, we'll do that as well.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
Date night. What will date night be? Probably just sitting on the beach. That's my.
It's probably gonna rain.
Yeah, it probably will. I'll plan it. I don't drink because I was an alcoholic, so I don't drink at all now. Not because I think that I'd not stop, just because I don't need it, and it ruined my life, and I don't want it to ruin what I have now, because what I have now is bloody good. My kids, like, when I was drinking, I was a mess. I was, but when I fell pregnant with Kira, I call her my hero, don't I?
Mm-hmm.
Because if it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't be here, because that's how much of a mess I was in. And I done everything by the book, didn't I? Done everything. You know, all these things, you're not allowed to eat cheese, you're not allowed to eat eggs, you're not allowed to do this, you got to take this vitamin, you got to take that. I done it all. And you never, ever, ever, ever think that it's going to be your child that is poorly. Never. You're naive, really. And you don't think of all the things that could possibly go wrong. And when I had her, she was healthy. She had positional talipes, which meant she'd been sat on her feet in my womb, so they shaped like inwards. But they didn't put her in cast until I demanded it, because they said, oh, it'll straighten out, and it never did. She's still got bad feet. But because I fell pregnant with Aaron really, really, really fast, Aaron was a twin, and I lost his twin. But because I fell pregnant with him so fast, now I was very, very poorly. We didn't know at the time the reason why I was so poorly. I was in and out of hospital a lot. My dad, I moved in with my dad, and he was looking after Kira while I was in hospital all the time. We didn't know at the time that it was because of how poorly Aaron was. It turned out that because of Aaron's original problem, the tough, he couldn't swallow the water that he's meant to swallow to practice, which meant that it filled up and filled up and filled up. I was like a balloon, basically. And we didn't know why. I literally had so much water. It's called polyhydramnios. They did say that they would do a needle in and try and drain the water, but that was dangerous for Aaron, so I refused. But we didn't know, because we were focused on me, we didn't quite click on that Kira wasn't hitting the milestones that they'd said she was gonna. You know, the guidelines to say, oh, your child has to do this by this age. We didn't realise she wasn't hitting them because I was so poorly. And then when I had Aaron, and Aaron nearly died, and he had to have his operation went on the day that he was born. It wasn't until Kira had a health visitor come out that we realised that there was something wrong. And they've got a few more. They had the physiotherapy come out, and then an occupational therapist come out to give her some stuff to help Kira. And then they got more referrals to specialists and stuff. But when Aaron was in hospital for such a long time, and when he eventually come out and he had his trachea in, they wouldn't let him come out until I was fully trained, which I totally understand. But it was Kira's birthday on the 13th of May, and it was her first birthday, and I'd said, look, if Aaron isn't out of hospital by Kira's birthday, I am going to have a party in this hospital, and he'll not move for people. So they agreed to let Aaron home on the 12th of May, and I had a party for Kira's birthday, and then all of a sudden, it wasn't long after our birthday, and she had her first seizure. Me and my dad were there, and I thought she'd died. And I will never, ever, ever get that image out my head of what Kira looked like. She genuinely did look like she'd died. It was horrible. She was in the seizure for over 5 minutes. We rang for an ambulance. because Aaron was so poorly and I was the only person trained, I couldn't go to hospital with her. So my dad took her to hospital in the ambulance. Eventually she come around and they'd blamed the heat. They says, oh, it must be too hot. I went, no, she wasn't hot. It wasn't a hot day. She was a normal temperature, and they blamed the heat. A few days later, I was playing peekaboo with her, and she went into another seizure. She was in that about 7 or 8 minutes. I was on my own, rang for an ambulance, text me dad saying seizure, help, ambulance. So my dad got a taxi to my house. By the time that I had to throw my keys down for the paramedics, they come in. By the time they come in, they had to they had to give her oxygen and everything because she wouldn't come round. And my dad just made it to mine in time to get in the ambulance with her. That's when they finally said she had epilepsy. I had heard of epilepsy and I've seen somebody have seizures before, but it is something else when it is your own child. It is so scary. And obviously from my point of view, my heart stops when she has a seizure. It's like, oh, when she has a seizure, it is so hard for me to it's like everything stops and I struggle. Oh, I've got a hungry child.
Is that our channel or your channel?
Our channel. Okay, Daddy, you'll come
Hi
in.
guys.
Oh. So it's for me.
Hi, guys.
It feels like I can't breathe in the moment that Kira has a seizure. But hang on.
Does anybody else find this with their child?
Yeah, bedtime. How many people have children that eat all day and then when it comes to bedtime, they refuse to go to bed because they're hungry? You put them to bed and they come back down how many times? Because I'm hungry.
I'm hungry.
You have a slice of toast? That's all you're having?
Okay.
As you've ate a lot.
Did you realise they had some cereal just before bed?
Oh, they had cereal as well. Well,
No.
so yeah, for me it's awful. But since getting a good consultant for Kira, we've got her on a really, really good plan. Our medication really helps. There is a few triggers. She does have triggers, which any child with epilepsy is going to have. You're always on pins, worrying when the next one's going to happen. Every day that she doesn't have one is a bonus. But when she was younger, they were awful. The seizures she has now, I'm alright with them. They don't last long, they're not as violent, and I'm not as scared. But I can't, obviously for me, with me giving birth to her, I know how I feel. I can't imagine how Tom feels, because obviously Tom chose to be here for the kids and he loves them like his own. So from your point of view, what is it like? How do you feel
about
seeing Kira have a seizure?
I'm not even in shock.
Because for me, I feel when it happens, you go into autopilot, don't you? And you deal with it. But in those moments, everything freezes.
Yeah. And
I've got to work from camera where I can do videos on that, guys.
Yeah,
underwater.
Okay. Everything freezes for me. And then your adrenaline's pumping, isn't it? And you get it done. And then afterwards, when you realise she's okay,
you're like, oh shit.
Yeah. You sit there and your emotions kick in, don't they?
Now, we are used to it, but it never gets any easier.
Nah.
And
I don't think it ever will.
Just because she's not biologically mine, it doesn't mean that it affects me any different. It is soul destroying.
Seeing when you're a parent, all you want to do is protect them, don't you? And with something like that, there's nothing we can do to help her. And having it took from you, being able to help your child, you are literally helpless. It is one of the worst feelings in the world. When Aaron had his trachea and he got a cough or a cold, we knew we could keep him alive, didn't we?
Yeah.
We had all the machines, we were full on trained for him, we could do anything. If we could breathe for him until the paramedics got there. When he got his trachea took out, we were terrified, weren't we?
Yeah.
His first cold, we were like, is he going to know that he can breathe through his mouth? And we used to sleep on his floor, because we didn't know if he could cope. But we knew we could save his life with Kira. It's like your hands are tied and you can't help your child. And there's nothing you can do, and it is crushing. It is. I can't even...
Remember the day we came home with him? The day after he had it removed?
Yeah, we felt lost. When you have a child with a trachea, you have a suction machine, because he doesn't get snot, he gets it in his neck, and it's called secretions. So you have a suction machine, because he can't clear that. We had to use the machine to suck it out of his neck. Otherwise he can't breathe.
Suction machine, what about?
It was massive.
That
and
big,
then you had
an
an emergency one as well, didn't you?
Big tube going from it, and you had to carry loads of catheters around because you had to use a fresh one every time.
Every time. And then you had, because Aaron, he went blue a lot, didn't he?
Yeah.
His windpipe would shut a lot, and a lot of kids with tracheas don't need to have a SAT monitor, because Aaron's oxygen levels dropped quite regular. Aaron had no choice but have a SAT monitor on 24/7, because he'd be fine 1 minute and the next he would be on like 50% oxygen, and you were basically fighting for his life.
We used to get a lot of funny looks for that as well. When his machine used to be in public.
Oh, it used to. We could be sat in McDonald's, and if Aaron's machine beeped and I needed to suction him, I don't care if you're having a Big Mac. I really don't. My child needs this, and it saved his life. And the people would sit there staring at us, thinking, "Do you mind?"
Aaron, your
and I'd be like,
"Toast is just gone."
Bang out. Do you know? Me, if I had to take him outside to do that, them few minutes could have killed him. So I'm doing it there and then. I don't care whether you're eating or not. But people used to, a lot of people used to stay.
You said we didn't have none.
No, we're playing with it. What have you done?
So you had a lot, and then you had the SAT monitor, you had the suction machine, then we had this big blue box full of emergency supplies, which was stitch cutters. You had an emergency trachea.
It had to be ready to go.
Because there were times when he'd go blue, and it meant that there was something blocking it, and if you suctioned him twice and it didn't come out and it didn't clear it, you had to take that trachea out and get a fresh one in. And sometimes there'd be like big massive hard bogies stuck to it. Obviously when you got a blocked nose, you'll blow your nose. For Aaron, he couldn't do that because he didn't breathe through his mouth, it was all his neck. So we done everything for him, didn't we? The day Aaron come out of hospital with no machines, were terrifying. I don't think we slept for a long time.
I've got no words, because you're constantly checking him. Is he still breathing?
Yeah, it was hard. He slept in our room because he SATs dropped that often. He had to stay in our room, because as soon as that machine goes, it's life or death. So he stayed in our room so that we could get to him. So we never got a full night's sleep, did we?
No.
Never. A lot of parents, my child slept through all night. Never. You'd get like an hour and then the machine would go. So it was non-stop. And we'd take turns, because you do need your sleep.
You do.
But we were like zombies, I think, weren't we?
We used to get...
it was terrifying.
We used to get care on a night time,
Yeah.
couple of nights a week, didn't we?
Couple of nights a week would get a carer come in, and he'd have a cot downstairs, and they would just sit there all night watching him to let us get a full night's sleep. Which I can't thank them enough.
They'd come at like what?
8 o'clock till 8
at night.
o'clock.
Yeah.
And I genuinely can't thank them enough. We had an amazing team, didn't we? Mm-hmm. Massive support. And the nurses absolutely loved him. They really did. And they were brilliant with him.
You don't have to eat it if you don't want to. We're just trying to be nice.
We even, like, Sue, she was like in charge of them one year, and she'd just call in on our way home just to see how we were.
Because she'd
just to see if we needed any supplies or to check.
We could ring her. If she were on her way home from work, she'd be passing our house anyway.
Yeah.
We could ring her just to say, we're short on this, on that, and she'd drop it off on her way home from work.
Because a lot of doctors at the GPs didn't really deal with trackies. So whenever...
And I pee the bed.
Whenever... Why would you say that? Whenever Aaron's... Like, whenever his secretions... They're normally, on a good day, they were clear. Whenever they went, like, a yellowy colour, it meant he was getting an infection, and he used to get them a lot, didn't he? But the doctors never knew what to do with them unless we had to go to hospital. So we'd ring Sue, and she'd bring a special... It looked like a pee bottle, didn't it?
Yeah, it was a sample
but
bottle.
It would have...
It had a scoop inside it.
No, it would have like a tube at the top of it, which would attach to your suction thing.
Oh, yeah.
And you'd suction him, and it would eventually go into that. And then she'd take it to hospital to get checked, and then would get a prescription. But the team we had was amazing. Without that team, we'd have been lost, wouldn't we?
We really would have.
There were times and all when, in the early days with Kira's seizures, it was scary. And there were times when Aaron's nurses would be in to look after Aaron, and Kira would have a seizure, and they'd help with Kira. And the timer, they'd get the stuff out and help bring her around. And they didn't have to do that, but they done that because they were such nice people. And I can't thank Lisa, Tracy, Debbie, Sue, and Pat. They were brilliant. I think when you have a poorly child, you need a good support system, don't you?
And we really did.
We did.
That.
Now, obviously, Aaron doesn't need that care team no more. He's still got really good support system with the doctors, though, hasn't he? Like with his swallowing, we've only got to ring them to say there's something wrong, and they'll get him in that week, and then they'll operate, because that's what happens. So they're brilliant with him now. And Kira's, they go into school to see her, don't they? Mm-hmm. She's got Phil and Sharon, the epilepsy nurses near us, and they're brilliant with her. And then Dr. Iqbal and Dr. Adesirka, they're all absolutely fantastic with her, aren't they?
Yeah. I was just laughing at him because he's at his toast. He's not even come up for
They all get amazed, don't they? When she goes to hospital now, when they see how far Kira has come on. Because just a few years ago, getting Kira to hospital, you would have to leave the room, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You'd have to. She couldn't sit in the room with the doctor, and they're trying to examine her, and Tom would have to take her out because she'd start attacking people. And now she'll sit there and talk to them, and they're like,
and her speech, her speech is amazing as well.
I need a drink to wash it down, otherwise I can't lie down.
You'll go and get a little drink of water then, mate, and then back to bed for you both, okay?
Like the school that Kira goes to, without that school we wouldn't be where we are today. When Kira first went there, she could barely talk. She didn't really understand that I was mum. The only words she could say properly was dad. Mm-hmm. That was one of her first words, and how honoured. It took many years for her to say mum. But since being at that school, they have worked tirelessly with her, haven't they? Doing physio with her every day. Just come and say hello, because you're dying to say hello.
Hello.
the work with her every day, doing our speech. They're amazing with that physio, hydrotherapy weekly to strengthen our legs, because our legs aren't strong enough, and the collapse and she drops. Our legs are very, very weak. But that school has worked wonders with her. And we know the family, if we have problems, we can just contact the family team. I think when you've got a good support system, it helps us.
It definitely helps us a lot.
I know we're obviously with Kira's hormones that are changing, and we're a bit concerned.
Look on YouTube.
We're a bit concerned about how Kira's going to cope with puberty. So we've been talking to the doctors about that, and we're going to get her an appointment with a normal GP and get her used to going to see a female doctor, so that when the time comes, she's not scared, and then we can decide whether she's going to
cope. Where the camera is.
Because if she's not going to cope, there is a medication that they can give her. Because at the minute, yes, she's 10 years old. In the head, she's probably about 5. So if you can imagine what a 5-year-old would think if they started their periods, they wouldn't cope.
Take it with her. Say good night.
So we're gonna.
Good night. What? You've done this for 41 minutes. Look.
Massive.
Well, I've seen videos for like nearly an hour and a half an hour.
Oh well. You seen a night then?
Nanite.
Pete. Yeah, so obviously we've got to work with the family team and with the doctor to try and work out the best plan for Kira with our hormones and puberty. We are bricking it. Properly bricking it, aren't we?
I mean, it must be terrifying for most parents, but
when you've got a child who doesn't understand what's going on with her, and doesn't understand how to communicate her feelings, and how she can't explain what's going on with her and how she feels, or when she's getting frustrated, she can't get it out, can she not? No. So I dread to think how she's going to cope with that. It really does panic me. Now when you think of her anger now, think of it with PMT.
No.
Like honestly, we need to go and hide. What do? I personally do not think she's ready for it. I don't think we're ready for it. I think we need more support, more help, more advice. What can we do to ease Kira into this and to ease ourselves into it?
If anybody in a similar situation
has already gone through it,
like that.
And if you've got any tips, please get in touch,
because well, as I say all the time, we are winging it. There is never a handbook to have when that you don't get a hand. There's many books when you have babies on how to raise them and what to do, what's right, what's wrong. But there's never any help or support or advice for when you've got a poorly child. It's not. Do you know, if it were just one thing, if it were just an epilepsy, it wouldn't be so bad. But there's a collection of things wrong with her, isn't there? Same as Aaron, it's not just one thing. He has many things wrong with him, and that's when you think we are winging it.
There's no.
And every child is different.
I don't see how you can write a book saying this is how you should bring up a kid, because every child is different. It's a lot.
And when they say, like, oh, your child should hit this milestone. Every child hits it at a different stage. Why do you? Who says a child has to sit up at 5 months old? Do you know what I mean? Like Aaron, he was walking when he was 9 months old. That's not to say that every child has to walk at 9 months old. Just because Aaron did it doesn't mean every child has to do it. That's we thought with Aaron being so poorly, we thought it would hold Aaron back. And that he'd be laid in his bed all day just poorly.
If anything, I think
he was more determined, wasn't he?
Yeah, just made him stronger. And
he was literally nothing held him back. He was, and he's even now nothing holds him back. He might be poorly and he could drop down any time. It doesn't stop him. It doesn't. Being deaf, it doesn't hold him back.
No, not one bit.
He's never afraid to just face a challenge, is he? And he defies the odds. Everybody thought that he wouldn't survive and that he was too poorly and he wouldn't live till this age. He wouldn't make it home. And when he's 9 years old now, nearly 10.
The amount of people he's proved wrong is unreal.
Yeah. Kids they do baffle me because when you think they're so defenceless and they can't do this and they can't do that, but nah, they're stronger than us.
Of course they are.
How many times has Aaron had an operation and then the next day just walked around like nothing's happened?
Because what are you? Strong like what?
Strong like bull. And if you've got bullies, flex on them. Well, I didn't, but it doesn't mean you can't.
When he has that time when he was right poorly, can you remember when he said all his organs were shutting down? He was really bad.
Yeah,
Your mum, he'd been to school. This is how fast it happens with Aaron. He'd been to school, to nursery, and he'd come in. 1 minute he was fine, the next he was literally fighting for his life. Tom's mum rushed with the hospital because there wasn't time for an ambulance. We got there and Aaron, everything was shutting down. We all thought he's just got a chest infection, he'll be home in a few hours. No, they told her to get his family in.
Prepare ourselves for the worst.
And prepare ourselves for the worst, and it was terrifying. And eventually, after about 5 doctors and lots of nurses working on him, they stabbed him with some kind of antibiotic into his leg, just because they didn't know what was wrong. They had to do something. And then they rushed him for a scan and they found an infection on his one of his heart chambers, and he was close to death. And then the next day, he was on high dependency unit, wasn't he? He was on the high dependency unit all night, and then all the nurses that had worked on him the next day could not believe it was the same kid. Couldn't know. He was running around as if nothing had happened, and they were like, he was knocking on death's door, wasn't he?
Literally.
And they could not believe how resilient he was and how strong he was. Because he is still like it now, aren't you, mate?
What?
Strong.
Determined.
You're determined, aren't you? You're here for a good reason, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're here to show everybody else that strength isn't about how big and wide you are or how hard you are. It's about how strong you are inside, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like,
everyone is strong inside the body, they just don't know it.
Yes, exactly,
Everyone.
mate.
I genuinely look up, even I look up to my own son.
It makes us think, it is hard seeing my kids poorly, isn't it? And seeing them struggle and knowing that life is hard for them. But if they can smile through it,
so can we.
What
we're gonna do? Sit back and feel
Be
sorry.
sad.
Sit back and feel sorry. No.
No.
We just.
And if we can help other people by talking about
We'll
it,
feel good.
yeah. If we can help other people by talking about it and other people to know that you're not alone, and if we can get a little bit of help and advice. And
if you've got a hearing aid out there, you're not on your own with a hearing aid. I've got one as well. Drilled in my hearing aid. Drilled in my head.
It's drilled into your head, isn't it, mate? Shall I get the camera on it? So this is Aaron's little ear. And this is Aaron's bone-anchored hearing aid. If we can I get nervous, me.
She can't put it on.
I get nervous.
But she get nervous. And it doesn't hurt, look.
Shh. This is his sound processor. So this picks up the sound and it vibrates and it clips onto that pin. That pin is drilled into the side of his skull.
But it is a nightmare when there's hair in the way.
So it's drilled into his skull, and that when the sound processor is attached to it, what have I done to it? When the sound processor is attached to his pin, it vibrates the bone, which then vibrates the hearing nerve, and that is how Aaron hears.
Dad is in the kitchen doing the washing, by the way.
And it is an amazing piece of kit, isn't it, mate? Oh. Your Baha.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
It's better than a normal hearing aid, by the way.
It is. The how that works is unreal.
If you want one, you can ask the doctor to cut your ear off and get a Baha.
Nah. Because we don't want everybody being like you. You're unique. And yeah, you're unique. But yeah, so that's what we've been up to this week, and that's how we feel when people are judgmental and how it affects us. We hope you enjoy this video, and we hope you'll join us again next Sunday. Hopefully without any children, but we'll see. Next Sunday.
To be fair, it's been quite nice.
You've been funny, haven't you?
Yeah.
We're doing a weekly chit-chat on Sundays. We're going to have a cup of tea and chat about what we've been up to that week and talk about how we're dealing with everything. Yeah?
Take on my back, please.
So yeah, we hope you've enjoyed it, and join us next week when we come back for our next edition of our Sunday chit-chat.
God.
Sunday chit-chat.
Sunday chit-chat.
Ready?
Oh my God.
Look what I could do with my eyes. Ready?
Yeah, please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. There will be some videos going on from our little holiday.
There will.
And obviously we'll do some updates to show you how Kira copes and anything that happens, really. But yeah, thanks for joining me.
And if you don't know what time it is 9:26.
It's past my bedtime. It is. I'm going to have me tablets now, and I'm going to go to bed like a little old woman.
And I need to go upstairs and watch my TV.
It's past my bedtime. I stayed up for this. Normally I'm in bed when the kids go to bed, aren't I? I stayed up to do this video. That's dedication, kids. That's dedication.
Normally I'm sat on my own at this time.
I know. Normally when we do a video, you're driving.
Do you know what? It is so nice. I know, like, I don't talk as much as you know.
I'm gobby.
I'm gobby. Yeah. I can't keep my mouth shut for like a second.
I know, we're going to do a challenge.
Yeah, let's just stop talking.
I might do it. I'm not a brilliant speaker.
He hasn't got enough speakness.
Speakness? New word invention right there.
You'll get a bit...
Sometimes I get a bit...
Yeah, you get a bit nervous with what to say, don't you?
Yeah, sometimes I get a bit tongue-tied, and it's really hard when you've got a wife and a son. What doesn't shut up?
Yeah.
Sometimes,
guess what? It's hilarious.
Hang on. I think for you, sometimes it's hard to get how you feel out there.
Yeah.
You keep it all
I keep it all bottled up, and I'm not really good at expressing the way I feel, my emotions.
And when you bottle it up, sometimes you end up having to just go for a drive and a cry, don't you? Mm-hmm. You're not too man enough to admit that, are you? You have to.
No, it's so.
Even the strongest person in the world needs to cry because it's hard.
But when something bad happens, I cry like a baby. I'm not ashamed to admit that. I cry more than you.
We can handle the really, really big things, can't we?
Mm-hmm.
The life or death and stressful, but something little, and we struggle with, don't we?
Yeah.
It's something so silly that we struggle with. Like when Aaron, he split his head open, he fell and split his head open. I panicked like mad, right? And I was terrified. I can deal with anything. I could keep him alive. I can restart his heart. I can deal with Kira's seizures. But I pooped my pants. And if it wasn't for Tom's little sister, she calmed me down and stopped the bleeding. But me, now I'm a bit better. I am. But it...
This is how I split my head open.
The biggies.
I sat in my chair, weren't folded up right, then
and you fell back, didn't you?
And I fell back.
You had to have your head glued together,
I was about 3 or 4. Then Lola weren't even born, but if I was 4, Lola would have been born. Yeah, she would have been 1 year old.
But I think both of us keep it bottled up with how it makes we feel, how seeing my kids suffer makes we feel. And I don't think we talk about it as much, like together.
No, it's true. It's so true.
Well, on date night, we always have like 10-15 minutes of talking about what's been going on and what's worrying we, don't we? But we don't have date night very often, so it doesn't happen. Other than that, when things are getting too much for me, I go and put some music on, or I go upstairs and read a book because I have to close everything out. And I shut it all out, don't I? And I shut myself off because I don't know how to deal with it. You end up having to go for a drive.
I go for a drive because
you don't know how. You don't like me seeing you upset, and I don't like you seeing me upset. We don't communicate it very well. But maybe this is what we can do on my Sunday night chit-chat.
Yeah. People have got their own coping methods, haven't they?
Yeah.
One of mine, if I feel a bit that way, I'll get in the car and I'll go for a little drive. I'll turn my music up and I'll just zone out for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. You have to. You have to. I think every parent needs that time, don't they? Mm-hmm. Because I'm not gonna lie, it is hard. It is hard having poorly children.
But
it is scary.
One so mad like lately.
Why?
Because with my sisters a lot, and I don't see my friends. Well, then I need like a little socialise with my friends.
We'll sort that out. I think because
that might be a little bit better.
Seeing your children so poorly, seeing your children nearly die, and being completely having something completely out of your hands and you can't control it or anything, it is the scariest thing ever. So all you want to do is help your kids and make them better. So having poorly children is hard, and we are winging it every single day. We literally just wing it. We haven't got a clue. We haven't. But what we're doing seems to be working.
It really does seem to be working.
It does, and it seems to be helping the kids. But it's also so very rewarding, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've raised our kids very caring. They're very caring. They're very helpful. They're very aware, aren't they? Mm-hmm. They're very aware, and they understand that nobody is the same. There's no such thing as normal. There's no such thing as perfect. We are perfect to us. We're not perfect to other people. This is our normal. Everybody has their own normal. There's no
right or wrong.
There's no right or wrong. No, there's no way. Do you know what I mean? We've raised them to understand that, and it means they're not going to be judgmental. They're not going to be ignorant towards other people's needs, are they?
Of course not.
I'm happy when I see another person.
I'm going to slap you on the back and say I think you're doing a bloody good job. And I think I'm doing a bloody good job.
You know what?
I think we both are.
Right back at you.
I think, we might be
winging
it, and it's tough.
But we're obviously doing a good job. We've been doing this for.
Over years.
We've been together 9 years now.
2,000 years later.
When we got together, I met Tom years before on holiday, and when we got together properly,
Ready?
I'd already explained that I had 2 poorly children. I can't date, I can't go out, I'm the only person trained. So if you do want to see us, you've got to see me kids. We stayed in contact for a very long time before Tom eventually came to see her. And when he came, he didn't want to leave. He got thrown in at the deep end. He had to see Aaron, have a trachea change on the same day. Then he got took to hospital with Kira, so Kira got put to sleep. And he spent a few days and decided that this is where you're meant to be in life.
Yeah.
And it broke your heart every time you had to leave, didn't it?
Within a month of being together,
we knew that we wanted to be together forever.
Yeah.
We didn't want to be apart, did we?
No. And I was trained,
you
fully
got
trained to look after
Aaron, and fully trained to look after Kira. And it was.
Guess what happened the other day?
It was a massive thing when you moved in. Well, we always said, because he wasn't Kira and Aaron's biological dad, we didn't force the name Dad on him. It was the kid's choice. It was Kira. Kira, her first word was Dada, and it was to him. So if that's what Kira wanted to call him, that's what Kira will call him. And then Aaron, when eventually he started talking, Dad. But we explained we've never wanted to lie to the kids. We didn't want them getting older and saying, "Oh, why did you lie to us? My dad's not my dad." Blah, 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 blah. So we explained to Kira doesn't understand, but Aaron does. We've explained to Aaron that Aaron's biological dad isn't around. He didn't want to know. But Tom did. He chose to be a dad, and you thank them all the time, don't you?
Yeah.
It was my bestest
because
friend
it takes a big man to take on two. Not many men would take on 2 kids, and to take on 2 kids with special needs and very, very bad, massive health problems. That takes a bloody big man to do that.
And my back.
I can't thank you enough, dear.
You're very welcome.
You've made my family complete, and
have you told them this about the woman over there?
I did tell them. Oh. I love you very much, thank you.
Woman over there.
Wouldn't be TeamClark without you, dear.
You don't have to thank me.
So, this is TeamClark. Well, half of work anyway. And this is our Sunday night chit-chat. Thank you for joining me. Join me again next week.
And
join me again next week for a catch-up.
When my camera is charged and when it's and the pool is full and we're going in and taking...
Pool is full?
The camera...
You said pool is full.
The camera in the pool and you get to see inside our pool.
Okay.
And as you can tell from that little bit of messing around just then as well.
Do this. Do this on the back.
No, because you've got a bit of a rash, mate. I'm going to check it.
No.
How can I put it? Even though we go full shite.
Yeah.
We
never dwell on it, do we?
No.
Hey, why are you swearing a PG channel?
PG channel.
That's not a massive swear word. We're very, very, very sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm going.
We have some poopy hand dealt to us, haven't we? There is all you can guarantee. If something's going to go wrong, it's going to go wrong with us.
I can't get out.
We just deal with it like pros. We deal with it as a team, don't we? We work it out, and I think when you've got a family like ours, you have to work in a team. You've got to work together, and that's what we do. That's why
we make a bloody good team as well.
That's why we managed to get through so much crap, because we work together, and hopefully TeamClark can help other people. So what have we got to do?
Hopefully we can all help each other.
Yeah, we can help each other. Hopefully doing this might actually help us as well, get things off our chest.
Yeah, hopefully this should
hopefully you might.
Hopefully I might open
from
up a
your
bit
view,
more.
yeah, from your view, because from a obviously from a mother's view, but to get it from your view as well would be good. So yeah, I think this is going to be good for all of us and for other people. But what have they got to do to like the video?
Like, subscribe,
hit the notification bell so you don't miss out, because there will be more.
And I'm taking over.
More honesty, more give now. Come on. More honesty, more silliness, more
pranks.
Well,
and
yeah.
more annoying parents.
Yeah, we'll have some of that as well.
We one Sunday night we will go through Aaron's old tracky stuff and show you guys what we mean by it all and what everything did, because we've kept a lot of it.
And we shall see you all
in a bit.
We'll see you all in the next one.
Thank
you for the work.
Peace. What?
Peace out like a cow.
Hang on, what did you just say?
I don't think Aaron's getting this motto very well.
Whack pack, that's Woody.
That's what Woody and Klein do.
Woody and Klein. What's Woody and Klein? That's funny.
They're
one of the best video YouTubers.
They are the best. And if they are ever watching us, please get in touch, because we would absolutely love to meet you guys.
She would take me to an amusement park and
that would be awesome.
all kinds of cool games.
But yeah, here's Mini Clark.
You
seen hi?
I'm Big Clark.
You're medium Clark. Beaver's Big Clark.
No, I'm Big Clark.
Anyway, from all of TeamClark, we wish you all well. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. I've got an itchy nose.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Peace out like a cow. Peace out like a cow.
The camera.
Peace out like a cow. Peace out like a cow.